A Wisconsin judge pleaded not guilty on Wednesday to charges that she obstructed federal agents seeking to detain an illegal immigrant in her courtroom. Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan entered her plea during a Wednesday morning arraignment in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Wisconsin, one day after she was indicted by a federal grand jury following her April arrest by the FBI on charges that she helped Eduardo Flores Ruiz and his attorney slide out the side of her courtroom on April 18th when ICE agents showed up to arrest him. Dugan was charged with obstructing or impeding a proceeding before a department or agency of the United States and concealing an individual to prevent his discovery and arrest. The two-page indictment accuses Dugan of confronting members of ICE and lying to them about needing a judicial warrant to conduct their operation. Dugan faces a maximum penalty of 6 years in prison and up to $350,000 in fines. On Wednesday, Dugan claimed judicial immunity, citing President Trump's Supreme Court ruling from last year. Quote, "The problems with this prosecution are legion, but most immediately, the government cannot prosecute Judge Dugan because she is entitled to judicial immunity for her official acts," her lawyers wrote in a motion filed on Wednesday. Immunity is not a defense to the prosecution to be determined later by a jury or court. It is an absolute bar to the prosecution at the outset, they wrote. MSNBC reports in her motion to dismiss, Dugan's lawyers quote from the Trump immunity ruling where it said, quote, "In dividing official from unofficial conduct, courts may not inquire into the president's motives." They quoted that line to support the argument that her subjective motivations are irrelevant to immunity. They also cite the Trump immunity ruling's quotation of a prior precedent that said the essence of immunity is the immunity possessor not having to answer for their conduct in court. Quote, "Judge Dugan therefore has both immunity from conviction and immunity from prosecution," they wrote. Dugan's attorney said, quote, "As she said after her unnecessary arrest, Judge Dugan asserts her innocence and looks forward to being vindicted in court." Article continues saying the state Supreme Court suspended Dugan while she contests charges of concealing Flores Ruiz and obstructing ICE. On the day she was arrested, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said, quote, "If you are harboring a fugitive, we don't care who you are. If you are helping hide anyone who is illegally in this country, we will come after you and we will prosecute you. We will find you." FBI Director Kash Patel said investigators believe Dugan, quote, "intentionally misdirected federal agents away from Flores Ruiz as officers were preparing to arrest him in the courthouse where the judge works." 3 people told police that Flores Ruiz injured them during a March 12th verbal and physical altercation, after which 2 of them sought hospital treatment. Miguel Mendoza Figueroa alleged that Flores Ruiz, quote, "intentionally struck him multiple times in the face and caught them." FBI Director Kash Patel said Dugan's, quote, "obstruction created increased danger to the public" upon her arrest by the agency in April. Another article on this today at CBS News adds that a federal judge set Dugan's trial to begin the week of July 21st. They give more details on the events leading up to her indictment, pointing out that while Flores Ruiz was scheduled to appear before Dugan for a criminal court appearance, law enforcement waited outside of her courtroom to arrest him on an administrative warrant. The FBI agent said in a statement that, quote, "arrest team members reported that while waiting outside of the courtroom, a woman approached and took photos of arrest team members just before Flores Ruiz arrived at the court with his attorney. A courtroom deputy told the FBI agent that the woman who took the photos of the arrest team showed the pictures to Dugan while she was on the bench in her courtroom, and Dugan became visibly angry, commented that the situation was absurd, left the bench, and entered chambers. Dugan then approached the arrest team with another judge in the public hallway. Quote, witnesses uniformly reported that Judge Dugan was visibly upset and had a confrontational, angry demeanor, the agent wrote. Dugan, according to witnesses, told the arrest team to go to the chief judge's office to speak with them about the permissibility of making the arrest inside the courthouse, and looked around the hallway near her courtroom to seek out other law enforcement officers who were waiting to arrest Flores Ruiz. One agent, who Dugan did not recognize as part of the arrest team, remained in the hallway waiting for Flores Ruiz. After that, the special agent said multiple witnesses in Dugan's courtroom saw her say, quote, "Wait, come with me," to Flores Ruiz as he headed toward the public courtroom exit where the officers were waiting. Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse, the agent wrote, adding that Dugan also instructed the man's attorney to also leave the courtroom through that door. Agents later spotted Flores Ruiz, quote, looking around the hallway in the courthouse, and followed him out of the courthouse, where a foot chase ensued, and he was arrested. On Wednesday, Dugan's attorneys moved to dismiss the indictment against her, claiming the actions she took were in her official capacity as a judge and thus has, quote, absolute immunity from criminal prosecution. Dugan was released from detention after making an initial appearance in federal court. As the result of her arrest, Dugan was suspended from the bench in late April by the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Milwaukee County Circuit Court Chief Judge Carl Ashley said Dugan's docket would be taken over by a reserve judge as needed. They close pointing out that Dugan has served as a judge in Milwaukee County Circuit Court since 2016, when she was elected with about 65% of the vote. She was re-elected in 2022 after running unopposed. Please leave a comment and tell me what you think about this latest update. If you could give this video a thumbs up. Remember to click the like button, that's greatly appreciated. And make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. I will follow up soon. Thanks again.